This has been a hot topic throughout the pandemic, whether kids should be in the classroom or learning remotely. Recently, a Facebook group of Missoula County Public School parents formed an advocate for kids to return to in-person learning full-time. MTN's Russ Thomas caught up with some members to hear their thoughts.
Kids in our district are falling behind. It appears to be at every grade level.
A group of concerned MCPS parents and educators advocating for students to return to school full-time created a Facebook group to share their concerns regarding the current hybrid model of learning. The group organizers noticed the shared concerns across multiple social media platforms.
School staff and faculty are some of the primary mandatory reporters when kids are experiencing abuse or neglect. And then there's social needs that we know schools meet.
In the months since the pandemic began, the topic of what is best for school students, staff, and the community has been at the forefront of discussion. Members of MCPS Parents Advocating for Return to School believe having kids in an often uncontrolled environment with the potential of lack of supervision creates the opportunity for more exposure than if they were in school.
I think that the overarching theme is that in terms of exposure, having them in school in a controlled setting more days per week is safer than not.
On Monday, Katie Kutz attended her first MCPS weekly COVID task force meeting. She says she felt like a lot of the statistical data being reported, including information presented by Missoula City County Public Health Director Ellen Leahy, was not being heard by the school system.
It was 100% support for reopening of schools based on the scientific data, based on that new Harvard study that tells us that we should open our schools and how to safely do that. And I just kind of felt like it's a lot of passing the buck.
Missoula County School Superintendent Rob Watson says much of Monday's meeting was dedicated to new data released in December by Harvard Global Health Institute, and says that because it became right before winter break, more time is needed to process the information.
The new guidance really changed the perspective on how schools approach reopening. The sole purpose of Monday's meeting was to review that guidance and talk about the implications for our district, but not to make any decisions.
Watson adds that he will meet with the COVID task force again on Monday and will present the school board with their recommendations on Tuesday evening, with the possibility of having students back in the classroom 5 days a week in the near future.
That's what the recommendation will entail is, when do we implement this? And again, that our next big change in our schedule is happening on January 25th. In order to implement that decision on January 25th, we're going to have to make sure we have enough staff in place to do it.
MCPS Parents Advocating for Return to School say they want to be clear that they are pushing for full capacity school only because data, experts, and medical bodies are confident it is safe for students, teachers, and other staff. In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Watson adds he's impressed with how district teachers and staff have navigated the pandemic and kept the schools clean and safe for students.